Hi, I'm Ayden, and welcome back to Silly Little Giggles. Today I have with me,
Natalie Tays.
and today we're going to be talking about the theater production that we just wrapped up on. So this past Saturday, we wrapped up our production of Dorothy Meets Alice at the Palace Theater on Main Street, and it was actually the last run of shows that we'll probably do at the Palace,
Yeah.
but we'll get to that later. So start off, what character did you play?
I played the Red Queen, the Queen of Hearts. It was really fun. She was mean, and it was nice to be mean on stage.
It seems like a fitting character for you.
That's crazy.
So, were you, so when you were doing auditions, when audition time ran around, was that who you were shooting
Yeah,
for?
the Queen. I read the script and I was like, oh my gosh, she seems so fun, and then I can actually be mean to people on stage, and so I was like, I want to go for the Queen, and then I went for the Queen.
The Queen. Oh, I lost what I was going to say. The Queen and the Witch, both you and Hannah were really good. Y'all, it helps
Thank
that
you.
y'all are like that. And so you could really tell, even in just rehearsals, you could tell that the chemistry was really strong. And I think that someone was saying that it helps to have, like, you need strong villains.
Yeah.
Especially for something like this. It helps a whole lot to have a strong set of villains. And I think y'all did that pretty well.
I think just like because me and Hannah already just like bicker at each other just as is and as people, it was just doing what we normally do just on stage.
Just
so,
in big, fancy
yeah,
costumes.
it came naturally to us.
So what was, during Tech Week, during like the rehearsals leading up to the show, what was your favorite parts about it? What was your favorite memory from like Tech Week?
I mean, Tech Week, no, okay, I just like being all theater for like a week. It does get exhausting, but like whenever, you kind of just been doing theater every now and then, but for like Tech Week, it becomes like your whole life for like that whole week.
Yeah.
And you're just constantly at the Palace, you're constantly at rehearsals, you're constantly working on something for the show, and I like that it just becomes just constant theater. But really just making memories, and especially with it being the last show at the Palace, being just with everybody, and especially with this set, these costumes, it was just a very colorful show.
It was.
And just seeing all of it come to life on stage really is like my favorite part of Tech Week.
And like the last two people that we've had on the show, I've like talked about the show and how there's so much cool production stuff that we do, because Vivian did some really cool light stuff.
Oh,
There
amazing
was,
lights, amazing
like
lights.
60 sound cues. The whole set was super colorful. It was a really pretty show. I think we had blacklight stuff too. We had fog. I think that was really cool. It was really, probably my favorite memory of like Tech Week and like the days leading up to it was just messing around in the green room with Zach.
Yeah.
Me and Zach during Tech Week, we were locked in. We were twinning.
I don't think me and Zach can be trusted in the green room because did you work on the last musical show that we did?
I was in Oklahoma.
Someone, I think he had to shave his mustache so he could put stage makeup on, and I was like, oh, put some on my hand. So he put some in my hand, and then I had it, and I was like looking, I was like, what am I gonna do? And so I clapped really loud, and it went everywhere. It went in my hair. It went everywhere. And then he was like, nah, I dare you to eat it. And so knowing me and me being the type of person, I'm not going to say no to a dare. So I licked my hand. I licked the shaving cream off my hand. And I was like, okay. And he looked at me like I was stupid because that was a stupid thing to do. But yeah, no, Zach in the green room, he...
Cannot be trusted.
Unhinged
Cannot
energy.
be trusted.
No, definitely not.
No, I really wanted to go to that musical theater show, but I was all the way in Oklahoma for it, and I really
Sounds like
wanted
a
to go
personal
to it.
problem.
But I will, if we do one this year.
I think,
I'll
we
definitely
are
go.
doing one.
I would like to do that. I just have no idea how to sing, at all.
I barely do either. Like it's really just, you play guitar, right? So like you know what pitches are supposed to sound, you know what notes, and it's really just matching pitch, matching notes. Because all of the recordings, it's like you'd be good as long as you just pay attention. Some people don't do that.
It's okay.
But
Next question. How do you think just the run of shows? How do you think that they went?
I think definitely okay with a lot of freshmen in this show. It was new to a lot of people, so there was a lot of like kind of mistakes that happened, but like everything we recovered well.
Yeah.
Like with the little things that happened, you could barely even tell from
Yeah.
watching the show if you hadn't seen the show before. So I think just like how the show went, I mean, I think it went pretty good, especially with like we were almost packed out every single show that we had. And so like we kind of really wanted to put on our best performance for like our packed out audiences.
I think y'all did. I think y'all did a really good job at doing that. Every night was, especially on the last show on Saturday, that was probably my favorite run that y'all did.
Yeah, I think my favorite run was that Friday night show. I don't know what it was. You would think that with all of us being so tired and exhausted from the 2 shows that we did earlier that day, that it would just not be a good run. But I think my best run and most favorite run was the Friday show.
I think you were my favorite part of it. Not mainly
you.
just because that for your scene, I wasn't having to constantly do sound cues. I could just sit back and watch it.
And listen to my screeching voice in the British accent.
And after every show, Miss Robin was like, Nat, you can't do that. You gotta
screeching is a problem, which it's not even. It's because the reason she gives me that note is because she wants me to protect my voice.
Yeah, which is understandable.
But like, it doesn't hurt my voice,
Yeah.
and I'm fine. But I get it, and I understand what it is. So like every time that I would be in we would be doing a run through, and I would notice that I was screeching, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to tone it down. But then I'd already been screeching the whole show, so I was like, it's gonna be a character. Like this audience has already associated the screechingness with the character. So if I change it, so then I would have to try to find that like common ground of like between screeching and like my lower register of my voice.
I think the screeching, to me, it just kind of fits the character of the Queen of Hearts, where it's this big,
She's
unserious.
just a whiny baby.
She's like a kid playing as a queen.
That's what like I try to play it as. I just try to like in my head canonically she's like in her 30s, 40s, but then she's acting and screaming like a toddler. So I try to play it into the like being whiny a little bit. I don't know if that played off well, but
I think I liked it. I liked it when I just liked how you did the Queen of Hearts.
Thank you.
I messed with it a lot. What do we think? How do we think the matinees win? What do we think of those?
Oh my gosh. Matinees are always a risky, like not necessarily risky, but
They're just hit or
you
miss.
never know what you're going to go into.
Yeah.
Because you have all these kids and some of them it's their first introduction to theater ever, ever being to a live show. So it's a lot. But I think they went pretty good. I think the second one was my favorite.
Yeah.
I feel like the teachers, didn't they tell like the first show to like not laugh? It was something like that. They were laughing whenever they were coming through, but like the teachers were like telling them to like quiet down and everything. So that whole first run of the school matinee, like they were so quiet because I think their teachers like scared them into not laughing, and we were like, no, like we want you to laugh, like we want to, we want you to have fun.
Yeah.
And so I think with the smaller audience that we had in that second show, they were allowed to laugh because it was just them and
because we had for the first matinee we were like packed out because we had 3 schools there.
I think so.
We had Martin for one of them. We had 2 other middle schools.
I know Crab Orchard was the ones that was up in the balcony.
Yeah, Crab Orchard.
Do we have Brown? I think we had Brown.
Maybe.
I think we had
Possibly.
Brown. I think Martin was the second show.
I always found this is just something I noticed during those shows. The energy from the audience, like the little kids, will be up here at the top when like nothing really funny was even happening.
Yes.
And then as the show went on, it kind of like went down.
That tends to happen. I mean, the first school matinee I had ever done was last year, and I was playing a mouse that was like getting almost about to get eaten by this lion.
Because that was Aesop's Fables.
Yes, that was Aesop's also updated Fables, which is a crazy long title. But there was a scene where I had to give this whole spiel, and I'm like telling them everything, and I'm giving them like basically the deposition of the story. But as I'm doing this, the lion is like sneaking up behind me. These kids went nuts because they're like, "Oh my gosh, the lion!"
Mama, girl behind you.
Yeah, Mama, go behind you. Yeah, they were like yelling at me, and I had to yell, and me yelling, I couldn't even hear my own voice. Like they were so loud, and so like the kids get so involved in the show, and they get so like, especially whenever I'd come out and I'd ask them where the scarecrow was.
I know. I was just about to say something about that.
Yeah,
where they would be like,
over there, and so
like,
of course, like I'm not supposed to fight him.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh, where are you talking
Where is he?
about? I can't see him. So yeah, school matinees are always fun, and I love meeting the kids afterwards because they come up onto the stage and you get to say hi, and sometimes I like to stay in character for that and just scare them or whatever. But I know that sounds so bad saying that I like to scare little kids, but listen, I only threatened to chop off one of their heads, okay, and not all of them.
I think I heard that. I think I heard when you said that to one of the kids.
There's this little girl. She came up to me and she was like, "I'm gonna chop off your head before you can chop off mine." And I was like, "No, I'm gonna get you first." And then she was like, she said something. I was like, "I'm going to be your queen one day." And I looked at her. I was like, "Yeah, you look like you have queen material." And she's like, "You're going to be my butler." And she just completely unprompted. She was just giving me all this
sass.
stuff. This sass. She was bratty. I was like, "Okay, I like you."
Dad has found someone to challenge her.
Yeah, it was a sad day for me.
So we had, like I was saying earlier, this was our last run of shows at the Palace. Hopefully next semester we will have the spring show in the auditorium. What do we think about that? Because you've been in it longer than I have, so this has more of an impact on you than it does me.
It's kind of bittersweet, I mean, I've only known theater as the way theater is at CCHS. Like I've done a little bit of stuff at the Playhouse, but not even enough to like say that I've done stuff at the Playhouse.
Yeah.
So like the only experience I have with theater is doing shows at the Palace Theater. So, I mean, it's fun. I love the energy. We are so grateful that they allow us to use that space and they allow us to like rent out that space.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be nice to have a bigger stage. We're gonna have like better, and also not traveling to a different building to we can just go outside and have our little space there. And so I'm excited because I should be staying in theater hopefully for like the next year or so.
Hopefully.
And so I mean, being able to have kind of the best of both of them, like best of both, like have all of them. But yeah, having shows like done shows in the Palace and then doing shows in the auditorium in the future, I'm excited. I think that it definitely will be an adjustment for everybody involved because you've never had that. Robin's been doing shows at the Palace for the past like 20 years, and so it's going to be an adjustment for everybody. But we're all pretty excited for it.
So it's basically going to be, from what I've heard, it's going to be exactly like Stone's auditorium, like size and everything.
Only thing is that we don't have a few other because theirs is like in their school and ours is like
It's a different
school.
building.
So there's a few things that aren't the same, but
Yeah.
they pretty much use the exact same blueprints.
I haven't told a lot of people this, but I think next semester I'm going to take my shot at acting.
Oh my gosh, you totally should.
I think I will.
You can do it. I believe in you. I think you could do it.
So, so how I think that, not to give much of the next semester's play away, but I think if there's a role like what you did for the Shakespeare play, like the narrator and the stage manager, I'd like to do something like that because I've been told. I remember one time, this has stuck with me, and it's been like 2 years since Miss Lee said it to me, but I was giving her, you have to give like this speech for Ag Fair, and so I was giving her like the speech I had written down for it for the judges, and when I got done with it, she was like, "You sound like Neil deGrasse Tyson when you talk." And I took that as a compliment because I mess with Neil deGrasse Tyson. So I've been told that I have a really good speaking voice. And so I think that
especially because you do stuff like this, like interviews and everything. And so like you have to have that kind of like newscaster voice, I guess you could say.
We had we had Emma Hyder on like, yesterday, and you could tell that she just had that radio voice for it.
Yeah, she's in radio, isn't she?
Yeah, she works at the Peg Broadcasting. That's where she works at.
I've done like speeches and stuff. Like I did 4-H a lot whenever I was little, and I'm not little, but like in middle school. And so I think like the first year I did it, I got like third in county, and the second year I got second in county. So like I've done like some like 4-H stuff, and so honestly, like having that like in your back pocket really does. It helps, like especially with a role like that where you're like narrating or anything like that.
And I've also done FFA has also helped with it a lot because I did 2 competitions that are basically the same: conduct of chapter meeting and parliamentary procedure. You have to. It's basically just a debate club for a competition, and so you have to speak and give these points. And I think that's also helped a whole lot in that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the way it's looking, I think it'll be fun.
I really do. I don't know what she has in mind for this show.
Well, it's gonna be student
or-
brought.
Yeah, that one is, but the
Musical theater? Oh, yeah.
I don't know. We always do this thing where like she puts out a Google form and we like guess like what songs we're gonna do, and then if you like, I don't know what the prize was last year, but I don't know if she's gonna do it this year, but I don't know. I know we're gonna at least we can say that we're gonna do an Anything Goes from Anything Goes, because last year and the year before that we had to cut out one song, and then that song made it into the next things. Last year it was all of our Les Mis stuff that we did. We originally were going to have that in our first show, and then we cut it out, and then so we used it in our second show. And then last year, it was the Anything Goes song. We were going to do that, and then we had to cut it out. So we're going to do that. I know that one, but all the other stuff, I have no clue.
Weren't y'all also going to do some Hadestown stuff? Because I remember hearing some people talk about it.
I haven't heard anything about that, but that'd be cool.
Well, I mean, it was like last year.
Yes, yeah, I think Lee was going to do a performance, a final performance, and we were all going to get it, but that kind of fell through.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that because I think Persephone, I think it was.
Maybe.
And then
I have no knowledge of musical
it was
theater.
Hades with Zach. I think I had a speaking role as well. All it was.
Yeah.
But
I have no knowledge of musical theater.
that is gonna have to change.
I know.
That's gonna have to change, especially if you're gonna be in.
I know. And I wanted to start getting into it. I want to watch Little Shop of Horrors at some point. So
I have a playlist I can share with you.
Okay.
And it'll get you.
Send that to me.
I will send it to you.
Send that to me.
100%.
All right. I think that is all the time that we have. Is there any more questions that you wanted to be asked?
No, I'm good.
All right. Then this has been Silly Little Giggles with my friend,
Natalie Days.
and we will see y'all next time.